Alright, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to give you 5 tips to improve at Rainbow Six Siege. Now, let's get straight into it. The first tip is to trust your instincts. In Rainbow Six Siege, there's so many times in each round where you're going to have to make a decision. Now, you could either flank somebody, you could either rotate out of a position, you could either push something, you could do so many different decisions. It doesn't matter what the decision is, but there's so many decisions that you're going to have to make within each round of Siege. Now, the way that you should be doing this is to trust your instincts. Whatever your first thought is, you just do that instantly. The reason why is because as soon as you start weighing up loads of different choices and thinking about loads of different options, that takes time, and also it brings a seed of doubt in your head. There's a quote that I really like, and it's, "The worst enemy to creativity is self-doubt," and that applies to Siege in that you could have so many different creative thoughts if you just trust your instincts, whereas you sitting there doubting your first thoughts and doubting all your plans, it adds it means it so you're not even going to try to do them, and if you don't even try, then you're never going to succeed. So rather than sitting in a position where you have to make a decision of do I ever leave, do I push for kills, what do I do, instead of doubting yourself in your head, just trust your instinct. If your first instinct is to leave, then leave. It makes your decision making so much quicker, and it also kind of if you're constantly trusting your instincts, it gets you more into a flow state where you're less thinking about the game and less actively thinking about things, and you're more subconsciously thinking about things. So it's just so much easier to win rounds where you're trusting your instincts. There was so many times when I was a competitive player where my first instinct was to peek, but because there was stuff on the line, there was money on the line, or there was stuff like that, I was doubting my instincts, and then I was playing worse because of that. Make sure you're trusting your first instincts, and make sure you go follow the plan through until the end. You could be okay, my first instinct is to peek, so then you peek one time and then leave. That's not really following the plan out. If your instinct then changes to leave, then do that. But if you're doing it out of okay, I'll try it, but you need to fully be invested in whatever plan that you're gonna make. At the end of the day, it's your plan that you're making. So if you trust in yourself and your abilities, then you should trust in your plans. Then your plans should be good. The next tip that I'm going to give you goes for more attacking, and this is to play for isolating players. So what this means is when you're trying to clear a map, or when you're trying to attack a site, you'll find that generally there may be a one guy lurking around the map somewhere. You might find one guy's roaming somewhere. If you know this before you go into before you're invested into attacking a site or attacking a certain room, then coordinate with your teammates to go kill this person off, because chances are if there's a roamer, he's probably alone. At max there's 2 of them, maybe 3 if you're playing against a 5 stack that are coordinating with strats, but chances are there's probably only 2 players or 1 player roaming. Especially in ranked, there's generally going to be just 1. So with your teammates, you can coordinate to clear this person out, and create a pinch on him by going from two different ways. So let's say, for example, there's a guy roaming in service down here. Let's say he's roaming, he's just chilling around here. If I'm coordinating with my teammates, I'll say, okay, 1 person go from lobby and 1 person go from service door, the outside door over there, and then that way they can come in from 2 different angles and pinch him down, where this guy has to then choose to either fight one, fight the other, or leave. Or if he sits in the same position, then he has to just fight both of them at the same time. You could either do it that way, or you could have a drone and you're in. So let's say you're duo queuing, you don't have all the people to create a pinch and to drone yourself in, and to get droned in, sorry. So you coordinate with your teammates to be okay, drone me in here, drone me in through service, and then you follow up with the drone and then pre-fire where he is. That's another option for doing this. However, the best case scenario is where you have more than 2 people, and then you have a guy droning you in. If you're lucky, a guy droning both of you in, and you're both going in for the pinch on 2 different locations, from 2 different locations. That's the best case scenario, and at that point you're pretty much guaranteed to take the guy down and have a man count advantage going into the next phase of the round, the next stages. The next thing I want to talk about is confidence, and this is confidence is key in Siege. It doesn't matter how good you think you are, it doesn't matter how good you actually are. If you're confident in what you're doing and you're happy playing the game, then generally you will come out of it on top, no matter how you kind of play, because having trust in yourself and having confidence in yourself, just like the first tip where I said trust your instincts, it nearly always will bring you out on top. There's so many times in games where I make what people would assume is a stupid peak or a strange peak, but because I have confidence in my abilities and confidence in myself in playing the game, that I'll get the kills and it works. You need to trust in yourself and trust in your confidence. You will find if you play more confidently that you're going to end up swinging more, But the thing is with this is like it's different from swinging out of tilt or greed, because you're confident in yourself. You're swinging like knowing that you're going to get a kill, or like assuming that you're going to get a kill. And generally, because you're swinging like that over swinging out of greed, you will get that kill. If you look at players like Spoit, they swing a lot, and it's because they're confident in how they play. If a player like Spoit was swinging out of tilt or greed, chances are, even though he's got the mechanical skill, he probably wouldn't come out on top as much as if he's playing how he is, like when he's swinging confidently. So make sure as well, when you're swinging out of confidence, it's not out of greed, because if it's out of greed, if you just be like, okay, I'm greedy, I want some kills, then you just speed running your way to spectating. Next thing I want to talk about is pacing. This is like the speed at which you do things within rounds. Because there's 3 minutes in a round of Rainbow Six Siege, and there's so much stuff you have to do, it turns out that it's not really that much time when you think about it, for how much time you have to like even get to the building, then get into the building, then start clearing things, then start thinking about and execute, then actually executing. You don't have much time to actually do each of the phases. So a lot of like good players and a lot of pro players will break it down into 3 steps, which is like the initial phase, which is like getting to the building, making first contact, getting into the entry points. Then it's clearing, playing all the mini games of breaching walls, getting utility out the way, and then it's the execute phase. The way that I like to think about it from the attack side is give yourself around 30 seconds to get to the building and get in your entry point. Then give yourself about a minute and a half to play all the mini games of clearing utility, getting map control, securing yourself for the flanks, getting ready for the execute. And then the last minute is execute time. Generally it works out to be like you have around 45 seconds to 30 seconds to execute. So this is why you need to be really efficient with your time management in the first 2 phases to get this, like, bring yourself to have more time. If you think about it like this, if you get stage 1 and stage 2 done faster, you'll have so much extra time to go for the execute, and you'll be able to like figure out a more in-depth execute plan. But that doesn't mean that you need to skip over steps. You should not ever skip over the steps of like the building blocks of the round. So like breaching a wall, securing a flank, you should never skip over steps like that, or like even like clearing a room. Even though it might not be that necessary, there could be someone that uses this room for a flank route or something like that. So make sure you're securing everything that you need to get to the execute point as fast as possible. The way that you can speed up this time is to build plans before you even get into games. So if you play with the consistent 5-stack, build strategies with them, or use strategies with them that you already know, that everybody knows, so that you have consistent plans for each game and everybody knows what they need to do, and you don't need to micromanage anybody. So everybody has the same idea and knows what they need to do, and they can do it as fast as possible, rather than, okay, we need to clear this, okay, why is that not being held, someone go do that, blah 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 blah. So stuff like that you need to make sure you know before you get into the game. If you're a solo queue player, then you can't really micromanage your random teammates, and you can't build plans before the game. So just build your own strategies and build what you want to do, and do it as fast as you can. When it comes to the defense side of things, it's kind of said that as the time ticks down, it becomes a sort of sixth defender, because you have all these attackers trying to come in and clear everything. As soon as the time starts ticking down, they have less time to execute, obviously. So if you build these plans with if you waste out as much time as possible, it leaves the attackers struggling for time, and then at some point it'll be like, okay, they don't have enough time to come in and plant. So that at that point you just win off time. That's why the time becomes the 6th defender. So what you should do is you should start trying to waste time through roaming, through utility, through flanking, through just being a nuisance at sometimes. The last tip is about mentality, and this is to never rage. There's like so many times where I've had games where I could have won this, but a teammate tilted, then it started tilting other teammates, then it tilted me. Stuff like that happens. You will never ever consistently rank up if you're tilting after every game. You should think about it as each new round is a blank slate. It does not matter what happened the round before. It does not matter how your teammates died. It doesn't matter that 3 people got spawn peeked. It literally doesn't matter. You're in the next round. I see a lot of rounds where it's like a 3v1 and you end up losing it. And then because of that, people are going to the next round being like, oh, we should have won that round. What the fuck? What happened, guys? We should have won that round. What the hell? Like, everybody knows you should have won that round. But you tilting because of it is going to lose even more rounds. It's going to lose the next round, and then you tilting your teammates, which is going to lose the round after that. So make sure you're thinking of, like, don't just think of your mentality, think of your teammates as well. Because that one round that was a 3v1 loss, yes, it was, like, it might not have been your fault. But because you're tilting and you're tilting your teammates, it's becoming your fault that you're losing the next few rounds. So instead of being an idiot and tilting, just think of it as a blank slate. Like, okay, shit happens. Next round, let's go. Another thing as well, if you can't get out of the tilt mindset, it's very easy to get caught up in tilt on Siege because there's so many like annoying things that could happen to you. You could get rushed down by a Blackbeard or a Blitz, or some like silly things that happen, like losing a 3v1. Yes, that is tilting, but if you let it get to your head and you go into the next game tilted, you're going to lose even more games, never mind just rounds. So when you get into the tilt mindset, then just take a break. It's simple as that. If you're tilted, don't tilt queue. You will never ever rank up by tilt queuing. You might get a lucky rank up, but then you'll go straight back down the game after because you're still tilted. But if you're tilted, just take a break, decompress, go watch some YouTube, go watch some TikTok, and then come back to it with a clear head. So yeah, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed, drop a like, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.